Welcome back to the Retro Rampage podcast. BTM Review presents. I'm Aaron with Zach. Really big these days, in case you guys are all following it, is this current trend of spiritual sequels. I think the game waving the flag was Mighty No.9, which has finally got its release date, I believe, this spring, coming up here soon. But that one's been talked about for a couple of years now. But it seems like everybody's jumping on that bandwagon, you know, where the creator of a classic franchise no longer owns the right to the baby he, you know, helped create, but is going to somehow move on. And they're getting crowdfunded. And obviously, the fans are all about it because these campaigns are going extremely well. I mean, there's a couple of new ones out there that just sort of came out of nowhere, and the one I'll mention first is the Banjo-Kazooie spiritual sequel, Yooka-Laylee, because we all know that Microsoft bought out the Banjo IP, and they have new jokers that put out those games, and they were fucking horrible. The Nuts and Bolts game, they lost their identity, much like the story with Mega Man Mighty No.9. Those Mega Man games kind of lost their identity, yada, yada, yada. Mighty No.9, it's very classic. It's basically Mega Man without being called Mega Man. It looks like it's a blast. Yooka-Laylee, they only released sort of a demonstration trailer, but it looks awesome, man. They even got the same guys that did the original music. Did you check that out, Zach?
Oh, yeah.
It sounded good, man. That first Banjo-Kazooie, I love it. Now, you weren't a Nintendo guy growing up here. You didn't have an N64, rather. Did you play Banjo?
No, I didn't get to.
You still haven't?
No, not yet.
It lives up, man. It's like everybody out there, I mean, can probably attest, but, you know, Mario 64 sort of changed the game. And then it produced all these clones in that era, especially on the N64, even on the Sony PlayStation. They pretty much displayed what a 3D platformer should be. And the only one that was really, really worth its weight in salt was Banjo-Kazooie. And it was so good. And it's still, like Mario 64, insanely playable to this day. I actually played Banjo-Kazooie just a couple of months back and cleared it. It's so much fun. So, but anyway, the music is brilliant. Obviously, you have Banjo and Kazooie. The whole soundtrack is made up of Banjo and fucking Kazoo. I mean, yeah, we get the joke. Now this one, it's just a natural fit. They're going with Yooka-Laylee. Now your guess is as good as mine as why they picked what looks like a chameleon and a bat, but I guess that's just as silly and contrasting as a bear and a bird of some kind. But whatever, man, as long as the gameplay's there and it looks like it is, you know, you've got the creature that can fly riding in the back that helps you fly and it helps the moveset. It's incredibly charming, and I heard the music, man, and obviously the same composer, but now they're doing Yooka-Laylee stuff. So it's really quite adorable, man, and I just miss those types of games. That's what I'm most excited for, because that's why I'm a retro guy, man. And to me, I define retro by the arcade era, because, you know, they stopped making arcade games kind of around when the PS2, that's when they kind of officially died off here in the States.
Yeah.
And so everything before the PS2 era to me is retro. N64 is retro. Sega Dreamcast makes the cut. I know it was 128-bit back when bits meant a damn, but just like the PS2. But to me, Sega Dreamcast still qualifies, and it's just so
that was an underrated console too.
Fucking amazing console. It's just, you know, Sega's downfall, not to derail the conversation too much, but the Sega's downfall was just that it was timing, man. They always had these ideas first, and it was just other people that capitalized them and made them worthwhile later. They were always too early, too quick in the game. If you remember, the Dreamcast had online capability.
Right.
You had Phantasy Star Online. You were able to get on the web. It had the interactive, remember the interactive memory cards?
Yep.
And you could raise your little fucking Sonic the Hedgehog shows or whatever. I mean, it had all these innovative ideas, and I don't know what.
A big thing that was against it was the piracy.
Yeah, the games are so easy to just burn and pirate.
Yeah, you didn't even have to like hack your console or anything. It just, you burn it on a CD. No. And there you go.
Which, I'm not trying to say that I was part of the downfall then, but, you know, I'm a Dreamcast owner now, and, you know, there's a lot of titles on there that are real hard to find, so it kind of comes in handy if you really want to play the game. But, you know, me being a collector, I'm still going to buy those games, man, no matter what. But you know what? Am I going to burn a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 sooner than I'm going to find it at a decent price? Yes. I'm sorry. But yeah, man. So that's where I define retro, and I desperately miss games like Banjo-Kazooie or hopefully Yooka-Laylee coming out, and because they just don't do that anymore. There's always got to be like some extra element to make it new age. Mario 64 was what it was, and Nintendo's still doing it, man. Like, I love Mario 3D World. I think it's amazing. But all these other companies, man, they're adding all these new gimmicks. Now it's all about open world. Every game has to be online capable. I don't play online, man. I like a good campaign. You know, people talk about these Call of Duty games. How many people actually play the campaigns to a Call of Duty game opposed to how many people just buy it for the online parties? Nobody really. I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but the ratio is real slim, man. Give me a game that I can play by myself when I get home from work or whatever, and a tired day, and I just want to unwind. Give me a game like Banjo-Kazooie where it's not too taxing on me to sit there and just put in 30 minutes if that's all I've got before I want to crash, man. In 30 minutes, I can clear a stage. In a game like Mario 64, I can get a couple of stars, and it's a good stopping point. It's not too much of a commitment. You join these raids, or you get in on a game in Call of Duty, and you could be there all night, man. All of a sudden, you got people depending on you. I mean, I got little brothers that are like that. Oh, they rush home, or they say no to certain plans because they got plans to play a game with a whole bunch of their crew at like 8 o'clock and raid somebody. I'm like, for Pete's sake, I got enough people depending on me in real life. I've got enough schedule keeping to do in real life, man. I thought video games were supposed to be an escape, a little some downtime, something to unwind and relax with. Good Lord, that sounds like work to me.
Yeah,
it's like you gotta be here at 8, Aaron. No.
Yeah, I remember watching somebody play it, and there's a part where they're at the newest one. They're at a funeral, and he goes up to the casket, and it says "Press X to mourn." Did you see that? Nah. That was a big internet meme for a while.
Good Lord, it's just dumb. I mean, this is kind of derailing a little bit, but another one of those gimmicks is can active time, not active time, is I'm getting it right, the active time movements, like remember how Resident Evil 4 started? It was cool because it was new at the time, right. hurry up, mash X, X is square, the quick time events, dude, that's been played out. Kill that. I was playing the new Mortal Kombat X, the story mode of that, and it seems like they would just kind of throw those in the story mode, and it seemed like they did it just so the player isn't falling asleep.
Right.
Let's give you a reason to stay engaged with this story.
They do it like there's plenty of games where they do it in the most just stupid ways. Like you walk up to a car and you're supposed to push the car. You can't just walk up to it and start pushing towards it. You got to start hitting X, like mash X.
I mean, if this is their attempt, see, Nintendo does it right. They're trying to bring people into the game and think of new innovative ideas. So yeah, even though it sucked, the idea of the motion controllers was a valiant effort, and even now, I'm actually a big fan. Now, granted, just like the motion controllers, they don't utilize the gamepad like they should, but for the games that do, it's such a cool little gimmick. It works, and I'm sorry, that does not cut it for me. That doesn't work as interactive when I have to. It's like, hey, let's make them push X, or let's to mourn at a funeral. It's like, no, that's fucking stupid. That's just monotonous. It's like that's like going, but we're taking back steps now. We're going back to the days in 1996 Resident Evil where we have to push X to go up the motherfucking stairs. Or
the Sega CD games where you're just watching cutscenes and making little commands.
Oh my god, the Power Rangers Sega CD game where you're basically watching episodes of the TV show and you're pushing buttons and if you push the right buttons, basically what happens in the fight in the show happens, but if not, you die and you gotta do it again. It's so stupid, man. Like, kids are not dumb. Well, I guess they are.
What was that game where it was like Corey Haim and he was in an apartment building or something?
Oh my god, that's so stupid. That's so fucking dumb. That I can't think of it. It wasn't Night Trap, was it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was one. I can't think of it.
Night Trap was another one though.
Yeah, no, I know Night Trap. I have Night Trap. But I don't have the Corey Haim one, and I've watched the video footage on YouTube a million times. And his acting was fucking horrible. And he is Corey Haim, what can we say? Rest in peace. But yeah, anyway, it's like these gimmicks are stupid. Like when you're not being innovative like Nintendo at the very least. That's why I give them some slack, man. Because you know what, when you're taking risks, man, they're not going to always work.
Right.
They're going to bomb. You're going to get, backlash. But, it's all about that risk and that money shot, man. Because when you make it and when you get it, you might change the game and make gangbusters. But, for somebody like Sony or Microsoft to sit there and put in these fucking push X to more gimmicks or push X to enter your car, I'm like, that's just going backwards in time. That's not moving forward. Like I said, that's pushing X to go up the stairs in Resident Evil. Guess what they did in Resident Evil 3? By Resident Evil 3, you weren't doing that anymore. You could just walk up the stairs. Like, this is fucking amazing. Oh my God, really? It took people this long to just do this? It's a time saver. But with that said, the original Resident Evil is my favorite. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this sort of retro throwback. I'm excited to live in this era where, we're getting Shovel Knight, games like Shovel Knight or Rogue Legacy. Oh,
we better mention the Bloodstained.
No, yeah, the Bloodstained. That's the Castlevania one, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that? You know a little bit more about it.
It's one of my favorite games, period, not just
the original Castlevania or what?
Yeah, or no, Symphony of the Night.
What is it? You steal souls and make them your slaves. Is that right? Did I get that right? I don't remember what he fucking said. But have they released screenshots of it yet? Or like video footage?
I've seen random screenshots. It looks like Symphony of the Night. You're playing as a girl on this one, and they've
totally twisted it. Like the enemies look similar to Castlevania enemies, but they're not quite the same.
Right.
But the thing is like they can't patent Medusa heads.
Yeah.
So can he get away with having things like Medusa and skeletons?
Can they?
Why not?
Because I remember like God of War had stuff like that, didn't it?
Yeah, they can't. I mean, Medusa's that should be totally.
Oh, you said they can't. Okay.
No, I would say they can't sit there and patent that. That stuff is public domain. You'd think those are old Greek mythology,
and even stuff like Dracula.
Bats. Yeah, even Dracula. Yeah, there you go, man. Dracula. I mean, that's just stuff like that. So that would be really, really cool. Hopefully, you're right. He might be able to hit a little closer to home than someone like Mighty No.9 with Mega Man. He might be able to rip off a little bit more than everybody else. But when is that one due?
I don't remember a date, but I'm really happy with the turnout it's getting, like passing multiple goals. Like every day I see a new one and stuff. I'm really excited about them.
Doing as well as did you see how much money the Yooka-Laylee one made? Now I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I mean, I knew them at one point, but let's just say that they hit like 400% of their goal in the first hour.
Oh, really?
It was absolutely insane. Like, they've made way more money than they commanded, and of course, there's gonna be all these crazy stretch goals. They're probably gonna create more stretch goals. It just shows you how many people love games like that and just miss a no frills, just adventure game, man. I don't need all this crazy stuff. And the best part about this whole indie movement and the whole crowdfunding movement is, a game like Mighty No.9 that's gonna retail for only $30. It's going to be on Wii U. I know I don't know if it'll be on Sony or Xbox yet, but I know it's going to be on the Wii U, and it's going to retail $29.99 because you got these indie guys. It was crowdfunded. You don't have to fucking pay out, Sony's or these mainstream distributors for all I know. I mean, it's all in-house, less middleman, I understand, probably. So, I would totally expect games like Yooka-Laylee and Bloodstained to be in that price range because games... Well, I mean, they're just too much money.
Yeah, they're about $30 more than they should be.
They really are, man.
Brand new.
Now, as far as modern games, if I'm going to play a game like Demon's Souls and get like 100 hours out of it, yeah, okay, I could see you justifying a price there, but the prices really need to be fluctuated more with what's the content.
Exactly.
So I mean, give me. There's so many games out there that.
Did you hear about that game Evolve?
No, I didn't. What's that?
Apparently, the game costs $60 like every other game, but if you want to unlock the full game, which is like all the weapons and stuff, which is downloadable content, you end up paying I think I read that altogether it averaged at like 200 something.
That's another thing about this whole era that just pisses me off, man. Everybody, and obviously Capcom got a lot of flack for it, and I think the game
disc locked content
on Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Oh my god,
yeah.
I bought that, and I didn't buy it. I waited till I scored it online. I mean, it still kind of went against my morals, but I eventually did buy it when I found it on sale or whatever 2 years later for $5. But it's like you have all these characters that are, on disc DLC locked content, and it's just BS. And there's the controversy of the new Batman Arkham game. You've heard about that?
No.
Now they're charging, I don't remember how much it is, man. They're charging a ridiculous amount for the season pass.
Oh, okay,
it's like it's ridiculous, man. It's like I think it was like $80.
Yeah.
But they won't even tell you what's in it. They just said it's bound to include new skins and car, and even that, it's like, you know what, you expect us to pay early for this much money, which is more than the fucking game. And I mean, forgive me if some of my facts aren't right here, but give or take.
Yeah, I probably messed up that Evolve. I'm sure Evolve didn't cost over $200, you asshole.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess
100 something.
I could be that guy on the podcast that's doing this every second. Let me see. I don't want to be that asshole, man, because that drives me absolutely crazy. But, whatever, dude. I mean, we don't have to be accurate. But, no, man, the Arkham game, it's ridiculous. It's something like $80. It's more than the cost of the game. And for that price, you better tell me what I'm getting. And B, don't even charge me that price. But, yeah, at least tell me what I'm getting. But C, man, it's like the stuff they said it's bound to include. It's like, that's scaring me.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. I think it's horrible. I think it's disrespectful. And it's just going to cause... it might end up being the cause of the second big video game crash. It crashed back in the Atari days.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it's too huge now. I really don't think that'll happen. It's just absolutely massive now. It's so mainstream. We don't even have to get into that now.
Some people argue that it's happening now with the lack of quality.
Yeah, it's saturation.
But that's a different kind of thing altogether.
That's a different conversation, but and it's a much bigger mainstream animal than it was back in the early 80s. You have everybody playing it. It's not just your geeks, your D&D people or whatever. It's your jocks having Halo parties. It's everybody, man. It's your role-playing goon. It's everybody. But like I said, back in the Atari days, they had the big crash, and it was Nintendo that came out of nowhere and saved it, thank God. But you know what? I mean, if we're not going to see another crash due to this stuff, due to the saturation over, quantity over quality, because, I'm sorry, I'm surprised the first-person shooter genre isn't dead yet.
Yeah.
Even in the late 90s, when the JRPG explosion happened with FF7, and then those games had sort of their era. You had like Xenogears coming out, and you had like Vagrant Story and all that stuff. And of course the PlayStation era Final Fantasy games. Even that died out.
Right.
How long did that last? 6 years?
Yeah,
dude.
It was still going when the PS2 came out, wasn't it?
Well, with FF10, but even that, that was, Final Fantasy 7 came out, what, 1997? Something like that. Yeah. And then when did Final Fantasy X come out? Like what, 2002, 2001, 2001, right? So I'm saying it really was only huge for it had its 4 or 5 year window. And, there was a couple of games on the PS2, and you know what? There was a couple of games on the PS3, like, God bless them, like Ni no Kuni, my favorite game of the last generation. Absolutely adore that game. But they don't sell. And there's not enough people making them. And even we all know Square Enix, they jump ship. They're making shitty modern games that have a whole bunch of fucking event time fucking things I just complained about. And they're all about quick time action. And it's just, I just can't relate to it. And it's just not the same anymore. So even that genre died off a little bit. Why has first person shooters, how many of these games can you really tell apart?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Call of Duty, from the Battlefield series, from all these. I mean, even the MMO type thing, even like your Bethesda titles are starting to. I mean, I know Fallout's nothing like Elder Scrolls, but we got more and more of those games coming out.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just, we need to take a step back. And as much as I absolutely love Demon Souls and Dark Souls, you got those copycats coming out of the woodwork, and we're having those games come out, and it's just, let's take a step back. And so that's just all the more reason why I'm stoked to, if we're not going to come out with any new ideas that are engaging, fuck, man, let's just take a page or two from nostalgia. Let's give these games like Yooka-Laylee a chance. Let's pay a little less for them, and let's. I totally endorse Kickstarter if it's used effectively. Some companies, I think it's abused. You know, you have these companies like Capcom where I'm not saying they're doing this, but this is exactly what they would do. Like, everybody wants a Mega Man game, right? Now, Capcom can put up the money to put out a Mega Man game, but of course they want to make a profit. So they would be like, hypothetically, all right, if you guys really want a Mega Man game, show us how much you want a Mega Man game. We'll start a crowdfund and you guys pay for it.
Oh, man.
But there's companies that do that, bigger companies that are afraid to invest their own money.
Do you remember how many like times they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make a new Mega Man game. Let's." They must have greenlit like 5 of them, and they all got canceled. Like, I remember at one time they had the guys that did Metroid Prime doing a Mega Man game. Do you remember like the footage for that?
Yeah, the first person, you had the Buster out there. Yeah, that idea could have been cool.
It looked, it was just like
Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime, yeah.
Was that being developed by the Retro guys?
Yeah, I think it was the same team and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I've seen the screenshots, and it would have been cool. I mean, I guess it could have went either way. But see, we have these companies that have the dough that are doing that because they don't want to take gambles like a business should. This is what Nintendo does. I mean, there's a difference between listening to the audience and then putting it all on them. Now, but see, you know, you have these indie guys like, you know, the people behind Bloodstained, Mighty No.9, and Yooka-Laylee. That's a whole different, you know, bunch of bananas there. That's fantastic. It works because you're paying for, you know what you're getting. You're paying for what you want. Right. And you're getting something out of it, and you know, you don't have to worry about maybe it's better. Like, personally, man, I'm stoked for Mighty No.9. And honestly, Capcom can go suck an egg. If they came out with the new Mega Man tomorrow, you know, I think I'm going to go towards the original creator and his new vision for a cheaper price that asks the fans what they want. Yeah. Then go for another shitty Mega Man game. Because everybody's clamoring for a new Mega Man game, but here's the thing. Mega Man hasn't had a good game in 15 years, probably.
Did you not like Mega Man 9 and 10?
Okay, I'm sorry. I totally forgot about Mega Man 9 and 10.
I was trying to put that in there. I was so excited and proud of Capcom whenever they started talking about Mega Man 9 and you started seeing stuff for it, and then they did the number 10, and after that they kind of lost interest in it again.
I wish they would do that thing with Mega Man X, because Mega Man X derailed. Those PS2 Mega Man X games are just bullshit. The PlayStation Mega Man X's aren't nearly. They just kept deteriorating with each generation of gaming, and the only one that's like a perfect 10 through and through is the first one. I would love for them to sit there and make a straight up download version of a new Mega Man X game, call it Mega Man X. I think it would be 9 at this point, and just have it be the entire engine from the first Mega Man X, the Super Nintendo games. Right. I would think that would be just as simple with our technology to do as doing an 8-bit one. Yeah. You know, and I would be all about it. I would like, you know what, I'll take it. I will take it. So anyway, totally stoked. I'm all about people that are using technology and, you know, these new platforms for getting games off the ground, as long as they're utilized appropriately. And I'm stoked for them, man.